Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I would like to thank Asian Conference, especially Dattaji, for his kind invite. And just now we heard about the science behind, the Brahmaputra, which we do not understand like in a layman language. Like I myself, as a researcher who is not from the science background, would also not try to, look at the Brahmaputra from a science angle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this issue with a geopolitics angle, and that is why I prepared just a brief slide which talks specifically on the Metong County Dam, which is uh, which was actually discussed in December 25, December 25th of December 2024, and this came in news. And since then, we are seeing lot many discussions are happening. So we'll try to see how much the geopolitics angle which plays a lot. Are we also trying to connect the science with it, or just trying to formulate the policies which are only just related with the geopolitics? Next slide, please. Next. Next. Okay. So first two slides were like the basics of Brahmaputra river, but I just want to focus and start my presentation with this map, which is like talks about the Tibet. Tibet as a plateau where all the major rivers resources are coming up, and most of the rivers in South Asia and even in Southeast Asia also are originating from this high altitude plateau, which is right now in the control of China, Tibet Autonomous Region. Next. So what do we know about this Metong County Dam, which came into news since last December? So this dam is going to be the world largest dam, as we already know that China has already constructed the largest dam, which is on the Yangtze River. And this dam would be the 3x, would be generating the 3x hydropower. And the total cost, which has been estimated for this project, is $137 billion. We have already seen lot many, debates which are happening on the kind of amount which is sanctioned for this dam, because in the last dam, this kind of amount was not sanctioned. As this is going to be the world largest dam, it will also create large amount of hydropower electricity. So for this dam, it's been estimated that it will create 60 gigawatt of electricity, which is going to definitely surpass the third Three Gorges Dam, which is currently the highest dam in the world. And we also need to understand that because this debate is around whether China will create this dam, will establish this dam on the Metong County or not. Because lot many debates are happening whether China will try to make this dam or not. So in that sense, we have seen that this Metong County region, it's already been, at a very remote location. Lot of development projects like what China does in terms of BRI, it's not there. And in 2017 data, it's been estimated that there is only estimation of 14 to 15,000 population, which is based surrounded this Metong region only. And now approximately 20 to 25,000 people would be surrounding that. But the point is not that. The point of argument is China really going to construct this dam or not? So that is how the main debate comes in, and different scholars have talked about the implications also, and different have also talked about whether are we going to get the implications, the downstream countries which are there. When I talk about the specific timeline, till yesterday I was looking at this news. There is no concrete data which is available in the internet which talks about the specific timeline whether the China is going to start. But yeah, some scholars have estimated that it is going to start by 2028 or 29. Because before constructing this dam, we need a lot of survey, as this region is very much at a very rough topography, and it's been very much highlighted because of the seismic zone also. We have seen in the January itself, on 6th of January, it has a huge earthquake with a magnitude of 6.8, and it has actually taken a lives of lot many people there. And this dam is also becomes very important because it is very much near the LAC, line of actual control, approximately 120 kilometers approx far away from that place. And the kind of a earthquake activity which takes around in the Tibetan region, it is also with a proximity of 100 kilometers. So we can feel that how much the kind of a this seismic, it becomes very sensitive area. If this dam would be constructed on this Medong County, how much implications it will have. Now, next slide, please. In the map, I've tried to highlight that the exact location where this dam is going to get constructed, and similarly, like on the upper region, because this dam is going to be planned on the lower reaches of Brahmaputra, the Yarlang Sanche. And previously, we have seen that China have also tried to build cascades of dams on the upper and the middle reaches of Yarlang Sanpo also. Similarly, you can see that Jangmo Dam, which has been currently operational since 2015, it's been already operational with a 510 megawatt of capacity. And this was established with China's 12th five-year plan, which was started in 2011 and ended in 2015. And in that also we have seen lot many examples which came out, and we discussed it also, because there was series of dams which China tried to construct on the upper and the middle reaches of Yarlang Sampo, but only one dam was operational. So that shows the seriousness, that shows the topography of that region, that why it becomes very difficult to construct a dam. And this Medong County itself becomes very, very sensitive, because unlike other region of Tibetan, this area is very much underdeveloped. Like there are discussions that China is trying to construct it is trying to develop the infrastructure development near this area, but still they have not able to reach there. At the moment, they are currently under the survey that how much geographical location becomes a very important part. Without it, I think we are just talking about dam. We cannot even load a trolley or a tractor over there just to dig the area. So it becomes very challenging. Next slide, please. So you can see the lower slide where I have tried to mention that from a higher altitude, the water when it comes down at the Medong County, with a high speed, India is like in the middle. How much pressure of water, with a high speed it comes down. And Brahmaputra is just like on the last limb. So, it is going to generate a lot of good energy in terms of hydropower, but we also need to see how much it is going to impact the middle or the lower riparian countries. Like in case of this, India falls into the middle riparian country, and Bangladesh is a lower riparian country. So in that sense, we also need to formulate the kind of a chain, and we also need to see what are the duties the duties of the upper riparian, middle riparian, and the lower riparian. Next slide. So this dam, this Tibetan map, if you can see, there are dots which are highlighted here. So these are the cascades of dams which are already being constructed. And this study was done by the International Campaign for Tibet. And they have studied that 193 dams from the year 2000 onwards, which has proved that how much it has actually impacted the Tibetan people itself. So, and this is a GIS based picture which I have just taken from the internet, and which clearly shows that it has actually led to the displacement of people in the Tibet region itself, and they are protesting every year. They come out with large number that they do not want this kind of a dam, because it is actually adding a huge amount of problems to their ecosystem also, biodiversity also, and also definitely to the people. The livelihood is it is actually getting disturbed. Next slide. So with India, China, we are also very much concerned with the border issues, and since the time when the border issue came in 2020 with Galwan Valley, I got very much interested to study about that how the border issues are connected with the water issues. So that is why we did a study also, and this paper got published with the Springer, that how the border issues which are there with China, how they are connected with the water issues. So we have found that the moment any country which shares a very good bilateral relation with each other, they also tend to have a good relation in water. And when I was interviewing them on China's side, I also got the same kind of a response. So that clearly shows, and now we are right now, I think, into a phase after a lot many of meetings, expert level meetings, and recently special representative meeting happened between Dr. S. Shankar and Foreign Minister of China, where they are actually talking about how they can resolve this issue. And sharing the hydrological data becomes a very important part. And Professor Anamika also mentioned that in 2017, when this Doklam issue happened, China stopped sharing data. But there was a kind of a thing which is not being talked about, that it was sharing data with the Bangladesh, which is actually a lower IP to us. So that is how the hydro diplomacy comes into play, the geopolitics angle comes into play. That citing a reason which is not, in terms of, sharing a friendly relation with the country India, but with the Bangladesh, they were sharing data. Until now, 2023, lot many MOUs which we have done after expert level mechanism in 2006 or 2002, even with the Satluj River also, we are still to renew the hydrological data MOUs, which is like in terms of soft laws, which also says that countries are also binding in nature or non-binding in nature. I think the law part will also be taken care by my other colleagues. Next slide, please. So, just focusing on this Medong County Dam itself, what are the technical challenges? We have just mentioned about that it is at a very rugged topography. It's, the place is not very much developed. So, what are the other challenges which are there? So, I have briefly mentioned all of these points, and these are very basic ones. We have also seen, because climate change is also coming up, so we have seen that large number of glacial lake outburst flood take place near the Brahmaputra, and with the climate change, this activity is becoming a usual part now. Recently, we have seen in the Sikkim also the same kind of activity happening. Next slide, please. So, just want to highlight basically on two states itself. One is Arunachal and Assam. How it is going to have implication, because as panel is focusing more on the implication part. I have not touched upon the Bangladesh side. I think my other colleagues will touch upon that part also. But let us understand that in Arunachal Pradesh, when this Yallang Sampo enters Siang River, which is approximately 920 kilometers. So now that two debates, the school thoughts which my colleague have just talked about. Some say that it is just the annual rainfall, the monsoon, which is actually adding a problem. But some says that it is China which is basically a culprit, which is leaving the water flow from the dam, and it is actually adding a huge disadvantage to the lower riparian countries. So that actually, just to clarify on that part, we also need to see that how much annual rainfall, which plays a vital role. Annually, we have seen approximately 4,000 to 5,000 millimeter, the rainfall which Arunachal experience every year. Similarly, apart from that, when this kind of a activity take place, it is very much obvious that landslides, earthquakes, because this part is also very much seismic zone, so this will take place. But there are other activities also which have been previously or historically linked with the China's activities, like I've already highlighted, like the kind of a flood which we have in 2000. So there was a Tibetan, landslide dam breach on the upper riparian region, which was, connected with this, the flood which actually happened in Arunachal Pradesh, and it has taken a lot many lives at that point of a time also. Similarly, in 2017, we have seen that the black water incident, suddenly the color of the river turned blackish. And why it happened? The moment researchers, academicians looked at this reason, they got to know that lot many mining activities are taking place on the upper riparian region. As the Tibetan plateau itself is a full of mineral resources, so they want to extract more and more out of it. And we have seen that the fresh water, which is a lifeline for all the lower riparian states, that suddenly turned into a black river. And we have seen lot many protests which itself coming from the Arunachal and the Assam people itself, and they have protested against this kind of incident. Similarly, in 2018 also, Seongpu Basin, there was a huge landslide incident which took place and which has also been directly linked with China. But there are very less evidences which proves that again, whether the China has a major role in it. Next slide. Similarly with the Assam also, we also need to understand that it creates more damage to the Assam state rather than the Arunachal Pradesh. And in the monsoon season itself, we have seen that the kind of annual rainfall which is there, 2,900 millimeter. And as this is the flood prone area, which is actually devastating during the flood time. We have seen how much devastation take place when the water is coming at a high speed, and Assam is not able to do any kind of a thing. And there is one more challenge which is very much important, because as it comes from a high speed from upper riparian, the moment it comes down to the Assam, reaches up to Assam, it carries a lot amount of sediment, and which has been estimated that 400 million tons of sediments annually it gets deposited. So it becomes again a very big challenge for the lower riparian states itself, in the Arunachal and Assam also. So again, the speculated incidents which are also linked with the China, what happened with Arunachal. Similarly, when it comes down to Assam, the same kind of activities were also happened in Assam, but the kind of a destruction it took place in Assam was more than the Arunachal Pradesh. Next slide, please. So, what are the challenges which India is facing? So I feel that the data is one of a very big challenge, because just to share or acquire data from China, it becomes very difficult. The hard data, real-time data. Without it, there is no possibility to find out how much the scientifically it has been backed up. And there is also again a debate where the kind of a data which we get from the China also, it's been very much manipulative. And we have spent many millions of dollars in acquiring that data also. Secondly, it becomes very difficult to predict whether these challenges are really related with the China's role, or whether it is just the rainfall which is actually, or the landslide, the earthquake which is actually adding a role to it. But we have seen this historical floods which have taken place in 2012, 14 and in the recent also. But there are some debates and discussion. Still we are trying to connect the dots, how much we are able to back up with the science factor again. Next please. So these are some of the key recommendations which I feel that, after having this geopolitical discourse on this Medown County, I feel that this GBM alliance, Ganga, Brahmaputra and Meghna, India can take a very good role in it by connecting Bhutan, Bangladesh, Nepal. This is, I think, one of a very important alliance which can check the Chinese activities which are happening on the upper Iberian region. Similarly, we have seen that expert level mechanism has already been there since 2006, and they are also focusing on how they can get China on focusing on adhering to the 1997 of UN Convention of International Water Resources. Similarly, there is one more concern which I have not mentioned in my slide, but we also need to have engaged Bangladesh more. What we have seen in the recent current time, the political instability, and in this time I think if we try to give them more trust in terms of what sharing the hydrological data with them or keeping them in a loop, I feel that there would be no problem with the Bangladesh itself. But as next year the Ganges Water Treaty is going to get expire, so things will be seen that how much politically we are able to solve that issue. Similarly, in the Siang Dam also, we have seen that we have proposed Upper Siang Dam, which is of 10 to 11 megawatt. So it will also add a very great barrier between, if this dam gets constructed in the upper Iberian region. This will act as a buffer. And Ministry of Finance have already allocated many amount of money in the last financial year also, that they are going to expedite this process as soon as possible more. So I feel that there is one more important point where I feel that just not about, countries need to be focused more on the flow of the Brahmaputra. There could be, we can also diverse the water management of this river in terms of tributaries. We can create a small hydropower water management projects which are very much connected with that, so that our dependability on the Brahmaputra river availability gets low. So these are some of the projects where things can be also brought up. Now the next point is satellite and AI tools. So this is actually helping many countries like Nepal. CMOD has developed a very early warning system recently, and it actually helped Nepali people just to mitigate from the flood area. So this is, the AI will also be very much helpful in forecasting this kind of events, which would be helpful for the downstream countries. Next slide. I think leveraging the recent stabilization of both the countries is very important, and we are actually on the right time and a right thing where we are discussing about how we can talk about normalization of both the countries' relationship. So there is which paves a way for a good water relation also. And if China sees that there is going to be they are going to be a developmental boss in the Asia, so they also need to focus on the multilateral transboundary water policies forum. They need to come, they need to discuss, they need to sign the treaties. So then only I think things can also be discussed with them. The point, regional governments can also plays a very pivotal role, because yesterday we discussed about it. with Dattaji, we were discussing at how much regional government can also play a very good role, the state governments. And I think there is also a very good role of opening up, more and more research, scientific research, and international cooperation with in the Tibetan plateau also, so that the more data comes in, the more and more debates and discussion will also be taking place. And lastly, on the modern infrastructure, India is actually doing it a very good role. India is trying to, build lot many roads, infrastructure development at the LAC, both on the western borders also, central border also, and on the eastern border also. So I think this is where it leads into, where both the sides will also be developed, so there would be possibility that we will have less water tensions between both the countries. So these are few of the key recommendations which I feel that after a Medong County dam, if these points can also be discussed or taken considered, I think we are able to achieve some point where we can think of some sustainable solutions to it. So I think with this, I'll just end my talk here. We can have discussions on Q&A. Thank you.